This was the original house that Rowley Hart would have lived in. It was a standard issue house. It was just, there was no doors, no windows except for the sheet missing there where you walk through. Made out of logs and wood. And there's the stove. That was the only form of cooking they had, a fire with an iron pot. I'll now go inside. We can see what it was really like. Inside, see what it was like. When they arrived, they were supplied with tin and nails. Here's your table. You had to make the tin service the sides and the roof. And the roof had to be, and the whole place was built with saplings cut from the wood. And everything was wired, because although you were supplied with nails, you weren't allowed to use them for this. You had to secure the tin and everything with wire and lash it down with a sandwich of rope, of wire on the inside and more logs on the outside, so that would hold the tin down. You weren't allowed to use the nails, because when you progressed to the group house, which we'll see later, if you'd used the nails to fix it here, there'd have been nails in the tin and it would have leaked on your new house, so you had to save all the nails and just wire this together. This was the first home of which everybody lived for at least a year, and some of them 2 years. The Harts all slept on the floor, on rugs, and they dug a trench through the middle of the house here so that when it rained, the water would run through and they wouldn't get flooded. So this is what they had for the first year or 2 years. This place was called a humpy. Now this is called a group house. The tin that was on the side of the humpy is on the roof of this house, and that's obviously why they weren't allowed to use nails. You were allowed to have this house once you had cleared your 20 acres of land. The 20 acres of land you were given a saw and an axe to clear, and nothing else. Once you'd cleared your 20 acres, then you got some more implements I shall show in a minute. There's a tape playing in here, so you'll hear that.
Some children still use the term mangle today.
That's the washing machine, kerosene cooker. There was a safe of water you put on the top and it ran down the hessian, keeping food cool.
Later on, smaller rubber rollers were made.
The meat safe, the old man
large wooden ones were called
going in there into the kitchen.
To the right of the doorway is the first form of refrigerator.
Kitchen covers made from kerosene boxes. They're the irons they had to use. The meat safe. The dye washing machine. This is the back bedroom. Cupboards made from empty kerosene boxes again. None of these rooms were lined in any way. Little cupboard there. All just on boards again. The front room. This empty table. Now doing her knitting. And a dresser and the radio. This is the front bedroom. I presume there's a cot there. The main bed. The dresser. This is called group house. There's a view of the front of the group house with a tin on the roof that was recycled from the last place. Had a front veranda here, front room, front bedroom, and then round the back, all built on stilts. This is the original group house. Called a group because when people arrived they had to work in groups and help one another to clear the first plots of land. Here you have the blacksmith shop where they used to make chains and all the implements they could. Come along then here, the buildings. When a man had cleared his 20 acres with his saw and his axe, he was then given a horse and a trap and basic equipment. To say a trap's quite handy to go shopping and to cart some corn, but it's not a lot of help. Cart cattle, but that's what they were given one horse and one of these sort of traps here. There's a mean looking petrol engined circular saw. It's been quite hairy driving that. See all the memorabilia, including wagons. Then when you got quite equipped, once you've got your horse, they equipped you with a mower and a plough. This is coming out. The plough. And also a disc. Australian government equipped the farmers with a disc. The trouble is, a 2-horse disc, so they equipped you with a 2-horse disc when you only had one horse, so you had to work with your neighbour to share his horse so you could use it. And there's the dairy with the cream separator in there. Now once you'd cleared your land, they gave you 10 cows to milk, but they weren't very good cows. And so they didn't give all that much milk, but having given the milk, they didn't really want the milk, they wanted the cream. So they put it in the separator, sent the cream away to make butter, and the whey, obviously it was handy if you got pigs, because you could feed the pigs on the whey product. And this is just a little, children of about 8 or 9 used to go in there and turn the handle on the milk separator to help get the cream away. More odds and ends of the piece of equipment. But everything the Australian government gave the farmers that moved out here, whether it was the tin for the shed, the nails, the horse, the cart, the plough, the discs, everything, as they became more established, they had to turn around and pay everything back. Here's some livestock quarters, everything back, including their fare over. And the banks weren't particularly kind anyway, so there were a lot of them, they spent almost their life paying interest on the loan. And this is just giving you a view of the blacksmith shop and the shed, but basically there was nothing. They had to build and do everything themselves. And this is a little centre that's been set up to show what they were like. From the dairy through to the group house, which was, they got the timber for this once they'd cleared their